Welcome to the Resonant Life podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Leila Doolittle, and I'm thrilled to invite you on a transformative journey into the world of functional health and quantum wellness. This podcast is designed to inspire, empower, and guide you as we explore how to achieve optimal health, not just through physical healing, but by aligning with the deepest and most resonant aspects of your being. In each episode, we dive into cutting-edge science, ancient wisdom, and practical tools to unlock the root causes of your health concerns, transforming them into opportunities for growth, resilience, and abundant wellness. You'll discover insights from quantum medicine, neuroscience, bioenergetics, and more, all crafted to help you live a life that resonates with your highest potential. Join me as we unpack powerful strategies for optimizing your body, mind, and soul, and offer actionable steps to bring greater balance, joy, and vitality into your everyday life. Whether you're seeking to understand the connection between your health and your purpose, or you're ready to experience profound shifts in your well-being, the Resonant Life podcast is your space to connect, heal, and thrive. Let's embark on this journey of health and resonance together. I am thrilled to welcome to this episode Chris Buchanan, a functional medicine certified health coach that practices with us here at Resonance Wellness. His unique journey from aerospace engineering to holistic health coaching defines his innovative approach to wellness. Chris's transition was fueled by personal health challenges and a deep desire to understand the mechanistic workings of both our inner and outer worlds. As a certified health coach from the Institute of Functional Medicine, Chris blends his analytical skills with a compassionate, holistic understanding of wellness. His scientific background provides a unique perspective, allowing him to approach health coaching with both precision and empathy. His coaching style focuses on mindfulness, healthy habits, and lifestyle choices, delivering tailored techniques that resonate with each client's individual needs. Chris's mission is to empower clients to build a strong foundation for optimal health. Through his guidance, clients are inspired not only to address health concerns, but to embrace a life of intention, balance, and joy. With a rare gift for turning complex health concepts into relatable analogies, Chris combines humor and insight, helping clients discover resilient strength and a path to authentic wellness. Welcome back to the Resonant Life podcast. I am your host, Dr. Leila Doolittle, and I am honored to co-host today's conversation with Chris Buchanan, our functional medicine health coach at Resonance Wellness. Chris, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yes, we're excited to have the conversation today around how we can empower health participants to truly just be their best self within their health journey and be able to show up in ways where they feel more empowerment, like they're getting tools to actually help with their healing process rather than giving away their health journey to healthcare practitioners to constantly lead them or give them things to do. So Chris, tell us a little bit about your approach with health coaching and how you have been holding space for empowering health participants in their health journeys.
Yeah, so I'd say one of the biggest aspects that you kind of teed up there perfectly for me is getting people excited and involved in their health journey, regardless of how big or small the hurdles they're up against, the challenges they're trying to navigate, reminding people that they've always been a participant in their journey. And a lot of the times, and I got caught in this myself through my own health journeys, you tend to give away a lot of that agency to very smart people in very nice looking white lab coats, and they do a lot of good, but sometimes they tend to take some of the agency away from the patients where they just tell them what to do. And although the information might be 100% correct and would make a difference, you know, it might be the right information, wrong time, or it's not received. But when working with clients as a health coach, it's such a client-centered approach that we do everything together. So reminding people that they're a part of the team, even if the team is just me and them, add a practitioner, now you've got a really great team, and you can add even more people than that. And now it really is just a very supported, you know, no frills environment for someone to get the answers they need and stay involved. They've been on the team the whole time. It's almost reminding them that.
I love that. That's wonderful. Yes, it is so important to feel that confidence within themselves that their body is capable of healing. It's capable of overcoming whatever health concerns are present in their life. We need to introduce in just a few of the right tools and guidance factors or information. And that information can come in from supplements that they're taking that provides from herbs or vitamins approach, something that stimulates the system to start producing the neurotransmitters and the hormones or whatever it is that's communication signals to help the body gain better function. But that information could also come from other sources, such as the knowledge that's coming in that then they're able to add into their lifestyle factors or add into some of the ways that they're just showing up for themselves in life and making sure that they're spending enough time really focusing on the things that truly matter in health and also just allowing their systems to be in a state that it can heal.
Yeah, there's this really cool quote that I always circle back to, that goes, when you know better, you do better. And I love it up front, but I believe there's also a caveat there where getting information is amazing. Like obtaining information, it allows you to make better decisions with better information. But when you know better, you do better. Don't forget that there's a do at the end of it. So like chasing self-help videos, books, and everything, it's good. You've got to get that knowledge base, but then you have to determine what you're going to start doing. And you have to do less so that you can actually do it and stop chasing the research and all the information, put it down for a second and start doing too. So to do better, you have to entertain the do part. You can't just be reading to get yourself better. So yeah, the information is critical. That is step one. Information, experience, wisdom. That's how it goes.
I love it. That wisdom, that's where it's like listening to that inner knowing and feeling what it is that aligns best with our systems. There's so much information out there that we take in and it may not always resonate. That's so important that we listen to that inner wisdom and our own experiences too, to know and have that guidance. And then once we find that team that can strategize with us and provide us with the knowledge that we can synthesize and add into that inner knowing and experience that creates the wisdom that's our inner guidance, it's amazing. And that's where the magic happens in health journeys, where somebody may be constantly chasing health and almost on a hamster wheel, just trying to figure out what is that missing link? What is it that is going to create that magic pill that just suddenly helps all of their health concerns just start disappearing? But it really is about just going through all of the different categories of things that need to really happen within a health journey to where it's just right for the system to be in a state of healing. And it is, I think, in that inner wisdom, that's whenever we're able to guide ourselves to that perfect approach.
Right. And there's no shame in obtaining that wisdom with the help of someone else who can help you reflect on your experience.
Yes.
I hate to use the vain example, but it's like when someone does something different with their hair or their body type has changed and someone hasn't seen them in a month and says, wow, you look different. Yeah. Well, that person hardly noticed every day as they're going through. But if someone brings it up and says, hey, how are you feeling about this? They out of nowhere might go, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it. I've been actually doing a lot better here, but it's been a slow drip. It's been kind of a slow boil on my side and I didn't notice, but thank you for bringing it up and asking me those questions. There's no shame in getting that wisdom with someone else who's helping you reflect on your experience. So again, the self-guided, the self-help, the videos, the content, great, but incredible with a team and with someone who's going to help you remember to focus back and retrace your steps and see how it's been going. So you can make tweaks to that bio-individuality.
Absolutely. And that's what's so important too, is as we're going through that health journey where we start to gain a footing, like better stronghold as we're moving forward, then it's so easy for us to feel like we can just go ahead and take the foot off the gas pedal and just relax a little bit and maybe we backslide. And so it's so nice to have somebody alongside you, like a cheerleader or just some encourager that is able to say, this is amazing, great work, look at these wins that you have in your life, and let's keep going, let's go ahead and set our goals higher. And that way it becomes about not just trying to get rid of your symptoms and trying to gain better health, but about adopting a lifestyle that works so well with you that you're able to live your best life. You're able to truly appreciate and enjoy each day as you wake up and as you're feeling so much better. Let's see now, how can we become the best versions of ourselves in that process?
It is at times very helpful to have a guide, a coach, someone supporting you that can see your blind spots better than you. And again, just like a sports coach, they can't play the game for you, but they can sure as heck tell you what to watch out for and what to be aware of and what we were, do you remember this at practice? Like we did this a couple times. It's just someone reminding you what you've already learned or what we've set out to do together.
Yes.
And again, meeting you as a practitioner, several years ago when I was in the midst of my journey, you were an absolute coach to me too. So it's so important to have someone engage you, to remind you that you're part of the process, that what you do in between appointments matters, in between meetings.
Yes.
Again, it's all about engaging people and getting them involved, not only in the information, but the doing part.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. That's what's interesting too. You mentioned as you were working with me in your health journey, I remember whenever you first came in, how incredible it was that you brought in like a stack of papers and it was all these research articles that you had gone through in PubMed and NCBI to find white papers behind many of these different health concepts. And you were thinking so out of the box that you were ready to have a practitioner say, hey, can you confirm or deny from your experience clinically from working with clients? I found this research, and so I have these ideas in my mind. Let's put our heads together and let's kind of combine some of that knowledge to start forming that wisdom that becomes something that you can really hold on to and adopt into your lifestyle as part of your wellness journey. And you were one of the very first of all the patients out there that came in and really helped me to feel like there are some people that are ready to step up the game and not just live the status quo of a patient to doctor relationship where it's just tell me what to do and we'll figure it out. I'll do my best, and maybe like 2 or 3 weeks worth that they're really investing in trying to become better in their own life. But whenever you were able to bring in all of those peer research articles, I was so inspired by how much you were willing to really reach outside of the box and look further and look deeper.
Yeah. And just to, provide a little more background on that situation is, yes, I absolutely was showing up to doctor's appointments across the board as if it was an important board meeting or an interview. Like I had all my papers, I had all my questions, and I'll tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, that was not a healing attitude. I was absolutely scrambled. I was begging through making these appointments, like, someone please take the information and tell me what to do with it. Yes. I've accumulated all this data that I'm just scrambling to grab at. Like, it wasn't provided to me in like any organized fashion. Like, I wasn't following, certain modules or programs. I was just grabbing, frantically at anything I thought could help. And I was just crying out for help that someone could someone tell me what piece of information could potentially help me, or what is my next best step? Someone join my team, because I'm drowning here in information. So it's helpful to have that guide, that support, even if it's a spouse or a friend or someone who's been there, like, that's fine too. But like, have someone to provide some checks and balances and take the burden off you for always trying to find your own information and, accumulating this giant bookshelf of self-help books. I just wanted to add that, as you mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely.
I showed up to meetings with quite a few lab work pages and everything else, but at the same time, it was draining me in its own way.
Definitely it does. And that's one of the big inspirations that we have here at Resonance, is to make sure that we are providing information that is synthesized and distilled down into the most important and the things that matter the most. Like, for example, whenever we think about the toxic burden bucket, this is a very important concept in functional medicine, as it can be the root cause to so many things whenever our bodies become overwhelmed by toxins. And of course, we're all surrounded by toxins. It's coming in from the air and the water and the food and everything else, and we understand that. But how do we get to the place that we're not overwhelmed by the amount of information and the toxins that are around us? And how can we provide empowerment to help people come up with the right strategies to reduce that toxic burden, and also to help their systems to be more resilient so that their system isn't sensitive to these environmental toxins? So if we think about that concept of how important it is and all the complexities of it, it could be overwhelming to provide that knowledge in a way that then creates fear and it takes away, that power. So we want to provide information in a way that just allows people to know exactly what they need to do for themselves as much as they're able to, as much as they're able to control, and then also lean back into that trust that their system is capable of clearing out the toxins, that their detoxification pathways or lymphatic system is going to work together to flush out the toxins from their body. It's important that we're providing that knowledge and that information in ways that help people really adopt that into their life from empowerment, not fear-based approach.
Yeah, there's not really a question there, but all I wanted to add on top of that is, look, I get overwhelmed with it too. And this is my daily job, is talking to people about health. I get overwhelmed about toxins for myself and for my own family. And there is a big difference between awareness and empowerment and fear and trying to hide from it all, because all you can control is yourself. You can influence your home. That's the difference. Control, influence, and no control. That's kind of the spectrum here we're talking about.
Yes.
And the world is a mess right now as far as the toxins that are coming in. You're going to hear a lot of people talk about it. You can talk about influencers talk about it. You're going to hear scientists talk about it. It is true. But all you can control is yourself. So just being aware, having a finger on the pulse, and controlling what you can control. And if that requires someone helping you to do that, that's good too. But if you're able to digest this information on your own and be truly a little more self-guided and just be aware of these things and make smart decisions, more power to you as well. Like, that's fantastic. I like that. I love that.
I love that too. I was really interested in sharing with our audience about the Transcend program that we have at Resonance Wellness. This is how we've put together a lot of our information around support for detoxification, for making sure that we are bringing awareness to environmental toxins, as well as awareness to how the immune system can have resilience against biotoxins. So let's just talk about a couple of these main points and see where you've had some feedback, Chris, from our practice members that have gone through the program. And let's talk about what they've been inspired by. What are some things that they are able to incorporate into their own life? And what are some ways that this has provided empowerment for them? I think one of the most important things that I've noticed from my side is we give them the information in easy to digest video form where they can go and reference as they need to, and PDFs resources. But the most important part is having a health coach alongside them, guiding them through, supporting them, giving them that inspiration to continue and stay motivated in the process, because it's an entire lifestyle change and there's so many different ways that they're trying to bring in this information into their daily lives. Tell me a little bit more about your feedback, Chris, from this program.
So a couple of things. Now talking specifically about the Transcend 360 program that we've offered from Resonance Wellness is, one, as you mentioned, there's health coaching involved with some of the tiers of the program, where you have that support kind of baked into it. Other people choose to do it a la carte. But let's not glaze past the part that you, as the practitioner, there also is the ability to get labs, which people sometimes get spooked at labs, where it's like, oh, what if we find something wrong? And I kind of think, what if we find something wrong? Like, how exciting to get our focus on that, or just set a baseline. Just test instead of guess kind of attitude, so that we actually know a measurable starting point, so we can check the progress. It's so encouraging to see progress on labs, whatever that might be.
Yes.
And to have a practitioner not only ordering them, but talking you through it. I mean, there's the support. There's the blind spot that we talked about earlier, where it is a team. It doesn't require you to go out and be lab work certified as a client or as a patient to understand your own labs. It's critical to have someone triple checking those blind spots, those interpretations. What does this all mean in conjunction with each other instead of isolated labs? All to say, yes, this program is a culmination of a lot of different topics that have constantly been the cream of the crop, moves the needle the farthest for the most people, all provided at once. And yes, it can be overwhelming because there's a lot of information. There's a ton of value there. And at the same time, people can bounce around and watch whatever videos they choose. It doesn't have to be a book where there's plot development and you have to know what characters from module 1 continue into module 3. It's topics that jump out at you. I would absolutely watch those first. Feedback I'm getting from people is that we have a lot of content on bowel movements, on how critical and necessary it is on a daily basis, and we're all afraid to talk about it, but it's one of our absolute biggest detox organs. So people are talking about detox, they're all chasing dandelion tea and all these other products, but it's like, where are the bowel movements? Like, where's it all going? So people tend to miss some of the points. So they're really fascinated to see in the program where we make that a big topic and bright neon lights. Other topics are the environmental toxins that we talked about earlier, how it's an awareness situation. There's so many self-care products, home, clothing, you name it. It's all over the place. So it's just a reminder in these videos, and there's resources provided to go and continue your education, your research on this topic. It's an awareness-based approach, and there are obviously some low-hanging fruit ideas and actions that people can start taking, and you can absolutely build on top of those. All of this stuff is a marathon. And this is just reminding someone that it is a race, and it takes training, and you got to start left foot, right foot, and that's kind of what that program walks you through.
I love it. That's great. I'm glad for that feedback too. I am inspired by that, because this is how I talk about functional medicine with every single patient that comes in. It's very clear that we have so many things that we've just been skimming right over in functional health, and we aren't going to what's the true root causes that can help us the most. And bowel movements and opening drainage pathways are one of the most important elements to our system, just constantly being able to release toxins. I also talk about sweat and how important that sweat is. And people are like, oh, I've been trying to block my sweat for so long. They don't realize, just let yourself sweat as much as possible. Get the deodorant off. Your system knows how to get rid of toxins. It's so interesting how it's just changing the perspective on things. And I think that our society has actually led to so many of these health concerns, just because that it creates this distance between what's natural and healthy and then what would be something that we can fit into society.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're getting your health information from commercials, just let me be the first to let you know that those commercials are not a charity. So yes, learning, it just starts with education. I mean, even on the deodorant, as funny as it may seem, it might just start with informed consent on what deodorant you're using and what it could cause. And if you're afraid to admit that, hey, I've been picking one that, or utilizing a deodorant or antiperspirant, let's be pretty clear on this, that hasn't been doing me any favors throughout the years, even though I'm avoiding this thing called sweat, called perspiration, that I'm a little nervous about. It's a little bit of a stigma. There's taboo there. It's okay. Just learn about it first. Get some informed consent on your antiperspirant deodorant. As silly as it sounds, I kind of love it.
I love it too. Yes, there are so many different things that we want to bring in the information for about Transcend. And I think that it is great that it's such a comprehensive approach. And I love too that we create space for the group calls, webinar sessions, where we can actually get information that the Transcend members are interested in learning about. They ask us questions, and it's an open forum type of discussion where it's constantly ever evolving and ever changing based on how each participant is curious about some health topic at the time. And it might be relevant for them in their own health journey, but almost every single time it's also several other people on the call resonate with that question. They're fascinated by the information that comes through. So it's always going to be ever updating.
Yeah, and it's so wonderful to have a group or a community of people going through this at the same time. It's all I describe it to a lot of clients as you're almost in a book club with other people, and you haven't met them face to face, but you're still reading the same book. You're still after the same goals and information, and it's so powerful to hear other people's wins and how they went about it. Because as much as Dr. Leila and I try to come back to earth sometimes on these topics, we can get spun up fast. It gets technical. We talk about all of our 10 years of experience and wisdom, to be honest, and we try to cram it into a few sentences, and it can become very overwhelming. So when people are taking on a program like this with other people, regardless of whether they ever meet them in person, jumping on those group calls to hear some of the feedback. Hey, I'm hitting this challenge. How do I navigate it? Oh, hey, I just had a big win. It moved the needle so much for me. Miles may vary per person, but here's how I got around it. It's just so amazing to learn from other people who are a few steps ahead of you instead of, a master of the subject who's miles ahead of you. It's so cool to have access
Yes,
to that too.
absolutely. And it's so important. Just we as human beings need to be a part of a group, need to be a part of a community. We need to have a tribe. And many times we're trying to each up level our own, system and who we are. We're doing all the self growth, and we oftentimes leave the people behind, like our friends that are just going in a different way with where their consciousness is evolving to. And so finding people that are like-minded, that are also trying to upgrade their life or trying to just become a better version of themselves. It's so nice to be around people that are inspired and intrigued and interested in, going through these lifestyle upgrades and just are also on a health journey so that we feel seen, heard, understood, and feel like we're not alone on an island. It's so healing in itself just to be surrounded by like-minded people.
Thank you so much for bringing up the community, specifically the word tribe aspect, because say someone is going through some type of chronic health issue that I don't want to say mainstream medicine doesn't recognize, but has trouble handling, and we don't talk about it very much. It's not commonplace to have discussions on Lyme disease or mold illness or all these things that are absolutely real. And people then isolate themselves from their existing tribes as they get sick. So now it's double whammy. In fact, the mental, emotional suffering from being sick can sometimes, beat the physical symptoms by a ton. So finding that community again, that tribe of people who absolutely resonate with you, who can empathize with you instead of just trying to sympathize, that's healing in itself. It's so powerful.
Yes, it is. So important. With community, that's one thing that's so important is with functional medicine health coaching. It's one of those things like you're able to be so vulnerable with your health journey, and you're able to show up in a way that you have a practitioner that can guide you from knowledge-based approach, but it's also just from being in camaraderie and knowing and feeling and seeing what you're going through. And I think that's an important aspect to these health journeys too, because it's a little different than a functional medicine practitioner that's like, say, I'm there reading somebody's labs and, it's very analytical and I want to be able to really touch people and help them feel seen, heard, loved, and understood. But also from health coaching point of view, it's like I think that people are able to be even a little bit more relaxed in those situations. So they're able to have like a true friend in the process. And that's one thing I've received a lot of feedback from our clients throughout the years that they love working with you, Chris, because of that reason.
Thank you. Yeah, it fills my cup. It fills my heart every time I hear something like that. And I will say, honestly, this past week, I got a message from a current Transcend program participant and health coaching client that was explaining some challenges they were going through. And I didn't really have a solve for it. It was very personal, but I just responded to how difficult it was. And I wasn't giving lip service. I was honestly reminding them that it sounded really tough and it would be tough for anyone. And the response I get back was, I forgot how good it feels to just be heard. Thank you so much. Like, tell me their nervous system didn't turn down a touch. Tell me the pressure relief valve didn't let off some of that frustration where they think everyone else is dealing with this no problem. Why can't I? No, no, they're not. This is tough. Sometimes it's tough, and sometimes it's okay to call it tough so we can go about it in the right way, a little bit at a time. So it all works together. Self-help books are great, but it's missing an aspect. A tribe is great, but it might be missing the information. It's really cool to combine them together. It's kind of I like to say 2 + 2 = 5, which the math part of my brain drives me crazy, but it's so true when you combine some of the stuff that the results are greater than the sum.
Absolutely. Wow, I love that. What's like the biggest win that you've heard? Like give us a idea of a case study of somebody that has been able to have huge wins with health coaching, and what's your biggest story that comes to mind? Someone that has really moved the needle profoundly in their life and big changes occurred. They were able to be the greatest version of themselves and share some inspiration just from an anonymous point of view, but something that might help our listeners to really feel and understand what it's like, a participant going through a health journey.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, this is very off the cuff. None of this was planned, ladies and gentlemen. I would say, yeah, thanks for the heads up on that. Okay. But I have legitimate examples, and it really just came down to which one I wanted to choose and which aspect. Right. But I would absolutely say that a lot of my clients who are parents, as I'm a parent myself, hit me the hardest with some of the results, because it really is, it spreads out quickly for them, the results. It affects everyone. It affects their friends, their family, their coworkers. Like, tell me your improvements in your health and wellness doesn't affect everyone you interface with from here on out. It just does.
Yes.
But to hear one client in specific, a parent of 3, after we discussed a lot of chasing nutraceuticals or supplements or kind of quicker fixes that I would say that are being promoted online or social media, which might have an effect and might be great. It certainly can be a catalyst. But after we boiled it down to adding in some real foods to give real nutrition, some absorbable nutrition, reducing some stimulants, whether it's coffee, tea, etc. I mean, after 2 weeks, this client wrote me a message that said, I have my life back. I can focus on my kids. I haven't felt level-headed. I haven't felt even-keeled. I haven't felt non-reactive in so long. And I can't believe that it came from these simple, borderline free, accessible to everyone behaviors that you reminded me I'd been missing this whole time, or thought they were too simple, thought I had to pay $1 bajillion to get this really effective solution. And it's not true. And just to hear people say you changed my life for the better, and when they have kids, or if they're going to have kids, it doesn't really, either one, or if they don't have kids and they're not going to have them, they're going to affect everyone they interface with. And that truly fills me up. That's not why I do it, but those are some of the big wins. Again, I know we've said it before on other recordings, but the universal health truths, the simple, the free, the accessible stuff to everyone. I don't like throwing supplements at people. I don't like throwing fancy protocols. I love reminding people of what your DNA expects. And sometimes you get that right, it solves most of the problems you were going after in the first place from a different angle than you thought.
Yes. That's beautiful. Wow. So inspiring. And yes, I know I've heard many, many of those types of stories coming my way after clients have worked with you.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the universal health pillars. Let's talk about those briefly. I know for years this has been a very important foundational topic. Just really simplifying things, not overcomplicating with functional medicine. Let's go back to the foundations and make sure that these pillars are taken care of first, and then we can get more complex with health programs. So let's talk about these universal pillars a little bit and introduce the concepts. Of course, hydration and movement and sleep and grounding and just connecting with nature, being able to relax, and nutrition is a big component, and circadian rhythm and getting out in the sunshine and helping the system to understand how to regulate and create the proper biorhythms. In addition to these, what else do you want to bring to the table of discussion for pillars of health?
Light, sleep, movement. And when I say movement, I didn't say exercise. I didn't say weight training. I said movement.
Yes.
Walking. We were just born to walk, like constantly. And I think we miss it so often, and we chase these high intensity workouts. I mean, I think it's such an interesting topic when someone's ready for it. Again, right information at the right time. The name of the game here for longevity is movement, consistency.
Yes.
Not killing yourself, not killing yourself in the gym, not, trying to set PRs. That's amazing. Go for it. See what you're capable of, but move your body, even if it's just walking. Best exercise I've ever heard invented for humans, and we're just not doing enough of it. Add that, do it outside, even better. Do it before or after a meal, even better. Like, there's so many ways to just use force multipliers on this stuff too. But light, I hear you say circadian rhythm. I think light, giving people, again, informed consent on their light exposure is important. And then you make your decisions. That's fine. It's okay. The more strict you are, the more results you may see. But I'd rather you just know, so you have the opportunity to do better. And then, sleep. My goodness. You're not sleeping. I don't know if you're standing on a sturdy enough foundation to do what you want to do when you're awake, in the simplest terms. So yeah, those are some of the big ones. And then I think community and like the social aspect of our beings is just it's really, really critical. So
very important.
Whatever you need to do to maybe resolve any isolation you're feeling or not feeling heard or anything else, however you go about that, I think the social aspect is really, really important. And the word tribe really comes to mind quickly.
I love that.
So now you walk outside, you walk in the light without sunglasses, you do it with other people. How many boxes have you just checked? Like, that's where it gets really cool. And guess what? It was free.
Love it. It's free. That's what's so amazing is our systems have been healing with these core principles for thousands of years. And so our body, our DNA knows how to heal with it. As long as we help to just allow our own system to get back to that healing capacity.
And your system knows how to do that.
Yes.
You got to get out of its way. And sometimes moving to allow it to move things out of its own way, sometimes that's the key. I know that sounds like complicated or technical, but again, it's learning to get out of your body's own way. It knows what it wants to do. How do you clear some of these blockages, whether they be tangible or intangible, and let it do what it's trying to do or support it in doing what it's trying to do. That's where supplements really come into place. You're supplementing your body's that's already trying to do something. It just doesn't have the raw material.
I love it. I love your analogies. You always come up with the best ones.
If you can't explain it to people, then your knowledge does nothing. You could be PhD master, you could be brilliant, and if you can't explain it to someone in an actionable way, you're not spreading anything. You're not helping anyone.
Exactly. It has to be in a way that it hits and it's like it triggers some sort of enjoyment, amusement, inspiration, some way to integrate it into their system, and then they remember it forever. Because now it's a true concept that brought in an emotional response too. So they're like, I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah, if you can weave in the emotional or the motivational aspect, whoa, it's again, it's in neon lights, as I like to say. But someone very, very smart a long time ago who could have run circles around me intellectually reminded me that if you can't explain it to a fourth grader, you don't understand it very well.
Yes. I love it. This, I feel like, is a great opportunity for many people to find something that's resonating with them, something that really helps them understand, or they're more intrigued or more inspired to think about their own health journey in a different way, an upgraded way, and to hopefully feel the inspiration of empowerment, because we all have our own tools and all of the building blocks are there. We just have to shift things around in the right way and add in that little bit of knowledge into our experiences and inner wisdom. That's a beautiful concept. So I hope we've provided plenty of information for y'all to want to go deeper and dive in a little bit more.
Dr. Leila, what would you say to people who feel that the Transcend program is a very expensive program based on other content that maybe they're getting from self-help books that they've heard from friends and family, or like bits and pieces from very smart experts on social media, etc.? What would you say about people that think the program is priced quite high?
It's a good question, a good perspective that they're questioning, because there is a lot of information out there. And not all of it is worthwhile information. Maybe it's not exactly what could really truly help them intrinsically gain health. And what we want to do with Transcend is to provide as much information as possible to empower them to make their health decisions in a way that creates true sustainable wellness. So it's not like we're trying to just give them information that we may have just found on the internet, or we're reframing from other influencers or other practitioners out there that are talking about something that is maybe a hot topic of discussion or a trending item in health. This is information that we've compiled from decades worth of being in our own health journeys, finding these solutions that have helped transform our own lives as well as those of thousands of other patients through practice. And so what we are doing is we're trying to bring it all together in a way that consolidates the information and it's tangible, easy for them to add into their own life, into their lifestyle. And the information is also set up in a way with all of the videos and resources and guides and the various support systems that we have to help them with implementing it into their lives. And
yeah, no, I love the fact that you reminded me that
yeah,
things were kind of compiled in a way that distilled a lot of the information that is out there to a lot to be just a more targeted, selective approach. It's almost the
yes,
difference between saying, here's the library, the answers are in there, go for it, knock yourself out, as opposed to bringing someone to a library, setting
yes,
down the 10 books in front of them that they're asking for more information on, and then putting a few more people to support and guide them at the table as they read those books. It's
yes,
a big difference in experience and
definitely.
compliance and results.
Yes. Yes, it is. And that's what's so important is it's about the practitioners guiding you on the health journey too. Like being able to be a part of the group calls and group sessions, you have a tribe that you're surrounded by. So you know that you are able to feel understood. You're able to listen to more of the questions that other clients have. Whenever they're going through the program, they may be asking questions that you wouldn't have thought about asking, yet it's very relevant to your own health journey. So it helps with really branching out and opening up to new ideas. And also, it's very inspirational to hear how there's so many different things that can be super big wins for other clients. And then that helps many others as they're in those group calls because they get to understand what their systems are capable of as well. And so they're able to really lean in even further. I love that aspect of this program as well.
Yeah, and what a cool aspect to be relatable to other people who are willing to invest to the same level of their health. So like people are
Yes.
prioritizing similar things so that you can not only relate but learn from them because they're on a similar path. Everyone's path is a little different. And then I love the reminder that there's always a few smart kids in class when you're in a class, and nothing wrong with listening to their questions and hearing the answer. So it's so cool to learn as a group instead of just truly being, stuck with just the self-help, self-guided route completely. Although that's definitely out there for people that have fostered that ability. So as far as the pricing for the program, where do you feel the value is with current offerings on the different tiers of the program?
Yeah. I think it's so important that people feel what they resonate with and what it is that's going to help them the most in the health journeys. So there may be people that can truly do it themselves and they can just gain the information from the videos or from the resources, the tools, and show up once a month on some group calls and get some information that they then can be inspired by, and then they just are really good at holding their own accountability. And that's amazing and super wonderful. And that's what we would have in the bronze program. And that's the tier that will provide the support just to the level that they need. But the next levels are where I think it changes their trajectory of their health journey in a way by having guidance and accountability and support where they have more one-on-one. Like for example, in the silver tier, I'm getting to work with you, Chris, and having that functional medicine health coaching. It is profound how many changes can happen whenever we just have that support, guidance, and accountability and a comrade in it that is able to, like not so much just to hold your hand, but walk with you and say, hey, you know what? Let's try this path. There's a little bit of a rocky part of the path. Let's go ahead and navigate around it in this way that keeps you moving forward and you don't feel stuck. You aren't feeling like there's something that can, knock you off from your goals. Instead, let's just arrange your goals in a way that you're able to work right through these stuck areas. And I think that is so important because I have been in practice for 7 years and I've seen so many patients go through times where they have a little hiccup in life. Maybe they get really busy in life. They forget why they started feeling so much better. They forget the protocols that really helped to change that trajectory. Maybe they aren't able to continue practicing lifestyle modification movements or whatever it was that they added in. And then they find themselves back to where they were before, or even worse, then they have this long health journey trying to get themselves back to that place. And it can be so helpful to just have somebody coaching you through those times whenever things get busy, whenever things get super stressful. That's the time to lean into what it is that can truly optimize their systems and help them show up bigger and better in their life.
And just to add on to that is on the flip side of navigating challenges that maybe you haven't experienced before or trying to navigate them in a way you haven't, that's certainly where coaches across the board can come into play. But I've also heard from clients that coaches help people dream bigger. So it's like
Yes.
when you're setting those initial goals, some people think the ceiling's here and the ceiling might be here. And this is not unrealistic goals. This is not trying to live in the clouds or go for something that is not possible. This is reminding people what they're capable of that maybe they've forgotten or, closed their mind to and don't even strive to be half as good as they could be. So it's really cool to help people, at least seek goals that are worth attaining instead of being okay with just being okay too. So that's really interesting. Yeah. So that is the silver level where health coaching comes into play. Now, the top tier would be gold. And what can you say about that?
Yeah, so I get to be involved with that one more one-on-one. And I appreciate how we're able to work together. So they have their calls with you. They're able to work with me on the one-on-one functional medicine. And that is where we can get more strategic with their plan. And so I'm able to tailor exactly what types of supplements or exercise protocols. If there's a functional neurology plan that we need to get involved with for neuroplastic optimization in the brain, we can add that in. We also have lab testing. So whenever we start adding in variables that show us the changes before and after, and we can see how big of a difference it is for that data, then that's whenever people can see proof. So they have tangible proof of the results that they were already feeling. And they also are able to set goals based on what they have before. Maybe there are certain lab findings that come out that help bring awareness to the certain organ systems that need a little bit of extra support. And then they can see the difference afterwards. And it is really great to have them have that information from then on so that they know what it's like to walk a health journey and then have that before and after and know if ever they need to optimize something in the future, they know what they can fall back to. What's the normal, what is it that in their tailored health plan that helped them the most, especially when we get into epigenetics. That's one of the other things that can help us get even more specific with health plans. And that helps us to find exactly the types of supplements and nutrition and food plans and movement plans that work best for optimizing epigenetic expression. That's just where the genes are able to express in certain ways, and we can optimize them to express in a way that's best functionally. And it's so fascinating how in gold, that's such a big transformation for people because they are also investing more for that level. And so they show up in a bigger, usually stronger way. And of course, everyone else may as well in their other, whichever level they resonated with. But it is amazing to see how big of a difference they can create in their lives just by investing in whatever it is that they need for support, guidance, tangible data in the labs, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. An increased level of personalization, bio-individual customization, to use as many syllables as I can right there. And very much the test don't guess approach as you get higher in price point and tier, as would be expected for people who are really looking for specific tools applicable to them instead of kind of the general but still very selective, very targeted content. But yes, a lot more of the support guidance all around with the higher tier.
And the other thing is whenever we talk about the most important investments that people are making with their supplements and how they're able to take in their nutrients that are going to help them, they also are able to have some of the best brands of supplements out there with discounted codes so that they're able to afford those supplements that can get very pricey and very expensive whenever they're at full price. And especially whenever we're trying to go for those trustworthy types of products, it's important that they have access to that. So I love that that's another valuable add-on to some of those higher tiers. And people can choose wisely on their supplements that they're choosing to invest in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can get expensive. So it's really nice knowing which ones are going to move the needle the farthest for, specific people, or at least based on as much information as we have at the time. And then being able to pivot quickly because you're in a personalized approach, if you choose to go that route. And hindsight 2020, looking back at my own journey is, gosh, if I could have signed up for something that included the consultations, had any form of health coaching or support other than my friends and family, all bundled into one. I don't know if I personally could put a price tag on it. And I know that's kind of kitschy and kind of like a sales term, but like I truly mean that. I don't know if you could put a price on the amount of stress that it removes when someone has done the legwork for you to put all these things together, to be a comprehensive approach, which I hope, I know it's out there, at least from us now, and I'm sure it's bubbling up from multiple different places and different arenas, but it's so important to remove some of that patient motivation, independence, where they're expected to schedule and figure out everything they think they need. It's just, when you're not feeling well, I mean, good luck.
It's so overwhelming.
Yeah. Is there anything that I did not ask you concerning the program offerings or pricing that you wanted to share with anyone? Or
well, I think it's important that people just go ahead and take the leap as quickly as they can, because don't waste time. Our time as our most valuable commodity in our life that is going so quickly by. We have to truly appreciate every single moment. And so if we're thinking about it, then we don't need to wait another couple of months to decide to value ourselves enough to invest in ourselves and invest in feeling good.
Yeah. Or reach out to find out more.
Yes.
Or ask for information. Or, and try not to get stuck. This personal anecdote. Don't wait till you feel like, doing something. If you believe that it's going to be the right decision, get the best information you can at the time. And it's difficult to get stuck on the hamster wheel of waiting until I feel like doing something until the perfect time comes around. That can be really, really tricky to navigate the longer it goes on. So
yes, it can be.
It reminded me as we were talking about it, like that wheel that I was stuck on myself. I was always waiting until I felt like it was the perfect time, which looking back there was no perfect time. The perfect time was as fast as possible and with the best information I had at hand, regardless of what the aspect was.
All right. So whenever we think about the idea of investing into health, every time that we are adding anything into our lives, we are choosing where's the importance and where's the investment, and what should we do to make sure that we are, investing in the right things, investing in the right information, the right type of knowledge, the right supplements, the right food. Everything is an investment choice. So whenever we have a health journey and we're choosing what to add into our health journey, it's important that we're choosing wisely, and we're choosing from a place that is going to actually truly change the needle and create a difference in our health journey that is long lasting and sustainable. So what are some of your thoughts on this, Chris, about how we invest into certain things into our health journey, and how do we help our listeners to prepare for what are the types of signs that they can listen to for when they know and they resonate with when they should invest?
Well, first start by saying that finances are a tricky subject when it comes to health, because it's absolutely a part of the stress that can continue to keep someone unwell or unbalanced, is the stress of paying more than you think you should for said treatment, supplement, what content, whatever it may be. And I just want to start off by saying I completely understand that, and was in that boat myself for a very long time, and continue to weigh my options, judiciously. I think it's important. You don't want to throw caution to the wind completely. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but that's what I'm going to start with, is don't throw caution to the wind. But what it immediately brings up for me when you pose that question is the only expensive supplement is the one that doesn't work. Right? Wow. It's a really blunt, super direct way of reminding someone that if you cut enough corners to lower the price to the point where it's not even possible to get the results something might be promising, then maybe that $10 is wasted, when at $35, and I'm just making this up, would have been very, very well served and could have done what that $10 product never had a chance to over years. So it's just being aware of, good work isn't cheap sometimes. Cheap work isn't good, as the contrast. So that's what it reminds me of. And this is coming from someone who's spent, over the past 7 or 8 years, especially when I was in the throes of it, 50,000 on supplements. And that's probably an honest, anything that offered a solution. And I thought that I was one pill away from being better the whole time. And so I was just, my cabinet It's just that I've heard people describe it as a pill graveyard. And I get it. And I've been there, and it's frustrating as you see that money stacking up on the shelf. And that's the ones that didn't work at all. Those were those were the expensive ones, even though they were cheap up front. And I thought I was getting a heck of a deal.
Absolutely. And I oftentimes feel like there are so many supplements that are not high quality that are actually just filling in the gap in our system and almost distracting our system, or even worse, giving our bodies more that it has to just deal with, process, detox, get out of it. And that is just taking up space or taking up energy in our system that we don't need to be burning through. Like a good supplement that actually works well, it functionally in somebody, that's going to help optimize. But something that is just adding in more factors that the body has to try to process and get through and work through whenever it's already dysfunctioning, it just complicates the situation further.
Yeah, exactly. So it's twofold on that front, is maybe not adding to the burden by taking some of the cheaper stuff. And this recording is not intended to be like a supplement sales pitch for expensive supplements, but it is just the general strategy and mindset on what you put your time, energy, and finances towards when it comes to getting better, or more balanced, or optimizing whatever your goals are. It is important to realize that the more bioavailable one, the more effective one, the one that's going to move the needle the farthest in the shortest amount of time. There is a balance on price there, but to know that cutting every corner to get it down to a price that you feel like is worth it, sometimes just, between you and yourself, just question that mindset or talk to someone who might know a bit more to help guide you in that decision.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And with that too, supplements are not the only way to start feeling better. It's also from guidance with optimizing your lifestyle factors, or just making sure that you're eating the right types of food that will fuel your body and create that sustainable change within every organ system, that then your system knows how to heal itself. And that knowledge comes from being around the like-minded people that have really figured it out. They've gone down all of those rabbit trails in the science and the research, or they've gone through programs to understand it better, and then they can share that knowledge and information. So that's one thing that has helped me so much throughout the years, is getting involved in programs and courses and certification programs and everything else that just really helped me understand different mindsets and different philosophies. And that was such a game changer in my own functional medicine practice and how I held space for people, because I had so many different ideas that I could then listen to what that person needed the most and really guide them to a tailored approach. So what are some things that you've done for yourself with like food as medicine, or fueling your body and eating right? And what were some of the biggest game changers in how you are choosing to put food on your plate, rather than it just being from supplements that help you with health?
Oh yeah, I love this question, because this was a huge one. It's very subtle. It's a very subtle mindset change, but it leads to such great results. Is realizing that sometimes the grocery store is a pay now or pay later exchange. And organic food's expensive. Food all around is expensive. Real food is the most expensive, unfrustratingly enough. But it very much can be, for some people, a pay now or pay later situation where, everything you put in your body, on your skin, in your body, you name it, is either, supporting your resilience and health, or it's, fueling disease and imbalance. And that's not out of fear, but it's absolutely there as almost this dichotomy of like what certain nutrients can do. I don't know any of them that are just absolutely benign and don't make a difference at all. So when I'm in the store and I see quality products that aren't on sale, it's okay with me. I think those companies deserve to be paid good money, and I'm going to try to utilize everything in my fridge and pantry to the best of my ability and feel good with that and move forward. And I think one of the biggest stats to maybe drive this point home, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm trying to remember the exact numbers from the study, but it was percent of income spent on food between the United States and Europe. I think Italy and France specifically. In the United States was around 3 to 4%. And France and Italy were around 11 to 15%. Yearly income spent on food that we're both going to eat is probably the same amount of caloric intake. We may have even had more. caloric
Probably.
intake with the,
Yeah.
with the least amount of money. And it was just a bit of a mindset change that, we always kind of aspire to be like those countries when it comes to food and
Yeah.
quality and experience. And, maybe it's just general cultural expectations, but at the same time to realize, oh, well, it's not like this is unprecedented. I can spend more on
Yes.
food and it is returning an investment. So that, yeah, that's what I think of when it comes to
Wow.
mindset shift with respect to food. And it's not cheap. Like, I'm not telling people to just grin and bear it and pay tons and tons of money, but invest in yourself. Like, that food is medicine. That food is the subtle multivitamin you're taking already. Like,
Yeah.
bolster it.
I love it. Invest in yourself. That's beautiful. And it is an investment in your life, and not just in how long you're living your life, like the lifespan, but it's an investment in the health span. How are you spending every single moment? And are you actually feeling good? Are you having days and weeks just drift by in the middle of brain fog, chronic fatigue, feeling exhausted, feeling like you're not able to live to your fullest potential? And that time doesn't come back. That's like the most important and valuable possession. So we have to take advantage of every single moment to live it to the fullest and make sure that we feel good for each of those moments. That's that health span.
Right. Yeah. It's a constant balance between like hedonism and then just saving to a fault and just saving up for tomorrow. Like saving those acorns forever that you might not ever get to spend. It's a good balance of that, and people are going to be in different places with it. But yeah, to your point, time being the only commodity we cannot get back. So trying to increase quality for health span instead of just chasing duration, instead of chasing lifespan.
Yeah.
That's a big one that people need to be aware of, I think, just to make smarter decisions in the now.
Absolutely. That's so important. And that's where I think that each one of us, we've had our own health journeys that are similar in ways where we had to find the practitioners to join our team that could help guide us to the right solutions, or at least to helping us to distill the information enough to where we could finally resolve the issues that we were having in our health concerns. And it takes so much time and effort to actually go through the information and know what we can trust in the information, and then what do we actually need to bring into our lives, like adopt into our lifestyle and actually put an effort towards. Like, what is it that's going to change the needle the most? And that it takes time to find that information. And it's also something that's very important that we have somebody join our team, where we hire the team, we join the team that can help us to distill the information in a way that we can just easily add in to our lifestyle.
Yeah, the topics we're discussing are not common knowledge anymore. This isn't stuff you sit down at the dinner table and get discussed, and you don't learn this early on anymore, at least not in the United States. So, having to bring on a team or to find information or to find quality information and content that can help you come to a decision faster, whether it be a la carte, whether it costs money to get that information or not, that investment, given enough time, can provide a return on investment that is easily 10x what you put in. I mean, easily 10x what you put into it. Just show me the cost of one, open heart surgery, or one, organ failure, or, your life. What's your life worth? And again, this isn't saying go broke chasing quality food and supplements to the point where you're stressed and it makes you sicker. It's just reminding yourself that you are worth it.
Yes.
If you can accomplish it, or if you can free up the resources and redirect resources, it would be really interesting to see someone's monthly budget to see if there truly was no wiggle room. Like, where is the money going to right now, and could a small change right now really have a big effect later on? Like, health really is parallel to financial freedom as well.
Yes, it is. Because it's so easy whenever we're feeling better, then we're able to make those decisions in business or how we show up with our employment to actually have a big change in our paychecks whenever we are able to set ourselves up for that successful raise or that successful leap in business decisions. And it matters whenever you don't feel well as well. You'll just stay at that level or potentially worse. That's whenever people can get laid off or they're not being supported by their careers. And it's just because they aren't able to go in and show up, or they have services that are depending on them being able to be there fully, mentally, emotionally, and physically to feel their best. So it ends up like coming back tenfold from a career level.
Yeah, and I think minimum on the tenfold, I think that's being conservative on what people are able to achieve. Like when you feel better, like I just don't understand what price tag you could put on that. And people may put different price tags on it, and that's fine. At the same time, a lot of what we're discussing is very intangible, very anecdotal, some of our experience, a lot of clients and patients' experiences, or friends and family, as they tend to make changes of their own, like positive, negative. It's just there's feedback coming from every direction. But the data itself and the information, I mean, what is it? Organic oranges like have 10 times the vitamin C, and it's not enough to hit the RDA, but it's still 10 times the vitamin C or other things. And again, I'm paraphrasing. I don't have the results up in front of me, but there are numerous vitamins and minerals that are 5 to 10x that of conventional grown produce. And we're talking about a 40-cent difference in the store on a $2 product. So it is more bang for buck when you start thinking of it in terms of quality for a small increase. And again, when you pay more, you pay more attention to it. So if I pay a lot of money for some animal protein or like a certain piece of produce from the farmer's market, wherever you're shopping, wherever you have time to shop, you pay more attention to it. You don't let it spoil when it's like, oh man, I paid extra for that. I'm definitely going to eat it when it's fresh because I'm excited about it. So that's important too sometimes.
I love it. Yeah, that is definitely one of my philosophies too. If I'm paying more for something, then I make sure I show up for it in a better way. And I am able to feel like it was a very important investment that I can then invest my time into. And it's like worthiness of my time for me to focus on it. And I think that plays a role in so many different things within our health journeys as well. That's one of the reasons why I've been able to join into certain like programs and things like that, knowing that it's going to be such a big feedback and turnout of how much knowledge I have. And it's because those higher quality, higher price programs that gave me more information. It's one of the things with Institute of Functional Medicine. This is one place that we both have studied at for our functional medicine studies. With the health coaching, they taught a much higher level of how to show up for clients and how to guide clients with more education and more knowledge that's based and founded in science and provides all of those pillars and provides the right types of building blocks for truly changing their systems. So I love that we are able to, choose those investment opportunities in ourselves.
People expect expensive things to be better quality, or they pay more attention to it. They have higher expectations both of the product and of themselves to show up. So it's almost, you can turn a bit of that curse where, you're not sure if the cheap version is actually going to be as effective. You can turn that into a blessing when you pay more for something of your choice in any aspect. It doesn't have to be health and wellness, and use it to focus your attention, your time, and your energy on something that you did devote quite a bit of energy towards in the aspect of finances. So it is a curse that we want more, we expect more of expensive things, but it can be a blessing when you put it towards the right avenue, because now it has your full attention. And if you've chosen a worthy priority, buckle up, because you'll probably make a lot of progress.
Wow. Big changes in life too, because now you're ready to allow for whatever big opportunities for growth need to happen. It's like there's no more of those limiting beliefs or restrictions to that growth. Like whenever people get into the programs that we offer here at Resonance, that's what's so interesting to see how big of changes we can get in their life in every single level. It's not just with detoxification and physical health in general. It's also with mental and emotional health, as well as just how they're actually showing up in life. Are they doing what they love in their career, or are they living in a place that they actually enjoy? Or do they need to move somewhere where they get more nature or more outdoor time, or more something that fuels their batteries more from an intrinsic level? And they make big, bold decisions in their life because they have the confidence and they devoted to themselves that energy to where they feel so capable. And then it's like that inner courage really starts coming out to actually truly create big ripples in their life.
not just capable, but accountable. Like you've added a level of accountability financially to buy into something that you believe in, that you want to work to the level that it costs, that you really, you show up differently. You simply do. And I've heard that feedback time and time again, that if this information was provided as a free ebook, it just wouldn't have the same effect as when people are locked in and following along very closely because they've agreed, they made a deal with themselves. They're going to pay this money for so on and so forth, that they're going to show up and do the work.
I love that. We all have that opportunity to do the work and just really appreciate and process how everything that we do, every energy that's spent, that is also an investment of energy. And it is important that we take and capture each moment and live it to the fullest. This is very enlightening conversations around finances and investments, and especially whenever it comes to health and health journey. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing some of your ideas behind it.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And for anyone listening, you're worth it. So just finding a way to invest in yourself to the level that you need is worth pursuing. And I will remind you that you are worth it when it comes to your health and wellness. You're worth it. So it was a massive mental block I had to get through myself. I thought I was really only worth things that were on sale or were at the price that I, expected the product to be. And it wasn't until I let go of some of that, for sure, that I started actually getting the support I needed, which is it's a tough hurdle to overcome, but it's there for a lot of people.
Beautiful. Well said. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Resonant Life podcast. I hope you found our discussion insightful and empowering. Before wrapping up, I want to invite you to explore our resources available through Resonance Wellness. Visit our website to access a wealth of free content, including downloadable guides, insightful articles, and practical tools designed to support your health journey. We also offer a variety of programs and courses that delve deeper into functional medicine, providing you with personalized strategies and expert guidance. If you are interested in learning how to integrate these insights into your own life, I encourage you to book a discovery call with me. Together, we will explore how functional medicine can help you achieve your wellness goals and live a life of optimal wellness. Visit drleiladoolittle.com to download your free resources and schedule your call. I look forward to connecting with you and helping you on your journey to a more resonant and fulfilling life. Until next time, I'm Dr. Leila Doolittle, wishing you a day filled with resonance and vibrant well-being. See you in the next episode.